Hello and welcome to another CadoinkStudios shoutcast for our Moorecraft series. This is the best of 5 between Jack and PowerRanger, and let's go right into the game. So today we have the two players playing on Shattered Temple, and both players are spawning once again in close air positions. So in the top 12 o'clock position we have the blue Terran Jack, and in the right hand position we have the red Protoss player PowerRanger. They just played on Shakur's Plateau, and if you have not seen that video you should check it out. This is the second game in the best of 5 series. Jack took the first game and we'll see who takes the second. So the two players are spawning on close air. The last game we did not see very much air. We didn't see a drop coming from Jack, which I think is interesting. But maybe in this game we will, seeing as the air positions are even closer on Shattered Temple than they are on Shakur's Plateau. But this expansion, this natural, is a little more vulnerable than Shakur's Plateau, so we may not see that early expand coming from the Protoss player. In fact, we do see his first pylon in his base rather than out in his natural. So we do see a gateway first for the red Protoss player, as well as the pylon or the depot coming up for Jack. He's sending his SCV down to build what I believe will be a barracks. Yep, there it is. And he's doing some scouting. Both players are getting quite lucky, and they're going to be scouting out the close air positions first. Jack, of course, will run right in and see that his Protoss player is here, and he might gear up to do some sort of Banshee play or medevac drop or this sort of thing. Seeing a similarity going up for the red Protoss player at this time. Normal timing, I assume, for Protoss, and see this SCV trying to kill this probe off, and he does have him walled in, so this probe will not be able to escape. Interestingly, both players are not doing too much at this time. Nothing in production for the red Protoss at this time except a probe. And he's just trying to run his probe around, see if he can see anything. We do not see the gas going up for Jack at this time, which is really interesting. Normally, here it is at about 15. Normally we see the gas coming out of a Terran player at around 13. But we do see this orbital command coming up at around the normal time as this barracks is now finished. This SCV should really run home and begin working, as well as this one. But he seems to be a little bit caught behind. And once again, Jack hiding his SCV in the corner of PowerRanger's base. Gonna do some late time scouting with that, which is pretty funny. So we see the cybernetics core coming out for PowerRanger, the normal sort of thing. He has quite a bit of minerals. It makes me think that he might want to take an expansion. However, I would opt to take a few more gateways if I were in his position. I think he's scouting around trying to see an early SCV, and sure enough, he'll see it there. And we'll see if he reacts to it. Oh man, he pulls the probe off a little early to build this gateway, which is hilarious, not seeing that SCV. So we do see a second gateway coming out for him, and we don't see a Zealot right now, but he is getting this super early Twilight Council. It's going to be going for probably that Zealot leg or blink. We do see Zealot leg coming out for PowerRanger quite a bit, as he does love Zealot play quite a bit. We see Marines coming out for Jack right now. He's doing his little factory barracks play per usual. Both players are about 22, 23 food, and continuing their probe and SCV production quite well. You see this Twilight Council is about finished. It's going to get done around the same time as this gateway. The gateway will get done just a little bit earlier, and we do see a sentry coming out for PowerRanger, and Jack is sending his SCV back in to do some scouting. Is going to see that he's spending that chrono boost on this warp gate technology, as well as he's going to see that Twilight Council, so he's going to know that there are going to be upgrades coming up soon. Whether it be Zealot legs or blink, we do not know, and neither does Jack. But he needs to run this away. He might have opted to wait a little longer before sending that to see if he could get a little more intel. But we do see another gateway coming down, so this is good. Jack will see this and know that there isn't any robo play going on thus far. We see the early council as well as these 3 gates, but there's not really a way you could have a robotics facility and be able to produce out of all these structures at the same time. This SCV is going to go down by the sentry though. Back in Jack's base we have the tank coming out for Jack, as well as a siege mode, and he is getting a tech lab on his barracks, which leads me to believe he's going to build some Marauders, which is going to be really good against Stalkers if he opts to get the Blink as well as the Stalkers. We see a fourth gateway coming out for Power Ranger right now, as well as Warp Gates still being researched. Not quite done yet, but he is getting 2 more sentries. It seems like he wants to have more sentries this game, and maybe play a little more defensively, popping down some force fields at his ramp, that sort of thing. Wow, and look at this. We see an expansion coming out for Jack at 7 minutes. Pretty good timing for an expansion. It's not quite early, but it is around a good time, and he's moving his units out front to do some defending. He really should get this tank sieged up, which he's doing right now, and maybe even send 1 or 2 Marines to poke up and see what's going on. We do see a pylon coming around to this 6 o'clock position base. Going to be able to do some warpins. I don't really know the reasoning behind this pylon. I feel like somewhere up here might be a little more productive for the Red Protoss player. But, however, if he's planning on expanding somewhere around here, it might be more defensive rather than offensive. And we do see the Zealot legs coming out at this time. We'll probably see quite a bit of Zealots coming out. But right now all we see are sentries on the field. Stargate coming out for Jack. Hopefully we're going to see some sort of medevac drops, as he doesn't really need Vikings at this time. There's no Robo Bay, and so there's no chance of a Colossi coming out. But wow. Let's see. Oh, look at this. I see what he was doing. He's going to hide this Dark Shrine down here, which is a little bit cheeky, but it's pretty smart, because I doubt Jack will have any reason to come down here. And he's going to have no idea about this Dark Templar sort of thing, especially if he scans in the space. He won't see it, and he won't suspect this sort of thing. We do see 3 Zealots and 4 sentries, so quite a bit of sentries. Going to be doing a lot of force fielding, as well as a lot of Guardian Shield. And 4 more Zealots come out. It looks like he might do a little bit of a push, or he's just moving up to take an expansion, but he doesn't have enough money for that. But he's moving his Zealots down here to maybe hide in case Jack attacks. He can run the Zealots back and destroy the tanks like he likes to do. We do see the Viking coming out for Jack, which is quite interesting. I don't see the purpose of having this Viking have a probe back in the gold base near Jack's base. Might be building a pylon to do some warpins and some sort of harassment, but we do see quite a bit of tanks at the front of Jack's base, as well as his natural getting finished up. Back in the Protoss player's base, he's getting a forge, and he put down 2 more gateways. Going to be trying to get those essential upgrades, maybe even put down a pylon and take an expansion soon. Continuing to warp in tons of Zealots, and this Marine's going to come see this little hiding force right here, but still has no idea about this Dark Shrine. He doesn't have anything to deal with it. Building a reactor on this base instead of a tech lab. He's not going to be able to get a Raven up at this time, and I don't believe he has an engineering bay either, as that's very crucial for getting the turrets up. So hopefully he'll save some scans, but oh, look at this. He does build a pylon in the back of the gold base, as well as warps in 4 of these Dark Templars, but he's only sending 1. I don't know what he's doing with that. Excuse me, 3 of the Dark Templar. Ah, there's the Dark Templar. Going to be doing some damage. Jack needs to get a scan off. Try to pick it off. There it goes. 1. Oh man, maybe he was waiting. Yes, he was waiting for that scan to be wasted so he can send in another Dark Templar. That's very smart by him. However, he sent it a little prematurely, and it was able to get some damage off, and he is quite a bit weaker. However, I don't know if Jack has another scan left, so this Dark Templar is going to come in and start one-shotting these little Marines, and he's pulling his probes back, and he's going to raise this wall, which is very smart by Jack. But he needs to get that engineering bay up. He needs to start it right now, as well as get a tech lab on it. Oh, he needs to raise that quick. And this Zealot, or this Stalker, excuse me, this Dark Templar is going to come destroy all these SCVs. He should run them away. Yes, he's going to do that right now. And we see a tech lab being thrown onto this starport, as well as a medevac and a Viking. He probably should do some sort of drop play harassment thing as soon as he can. It does a scan. He's going to kill it with this Viking, which is hilarious. Should be sending the SCVs. There they go. Wow. I guess in a one-on-one, a Dark Templar will beat a Viking. I didn't know that. Going to repair this refinery. Back in the other base, we see that Power Ranger isn't doing much right now. He should have taken this opportunity to take an expansion, as well as maybe kill off these rocks. He could have taken 2 expansions, which he is gearing up to do right now, as it seems. But he's sending in his 3rd and 4th Dark Templar to try to pick off this refinery. Both of these refineries. However, we do see the Raven finally coming out for Jack at this time. which will essentially shut down the effectiveness of the Dark Templar. And we also see the engineering bay just in case to do that extra bit of protection, extra bit of detection. And this is very smart by Jack. He's moving this up here because these Dark Templar will not be able to get up there since the rocks, and it's going to take him quite a while to destroy the rocks. We see a cannon, a couple cannons coming up, 4 Power Ranger in the back of his natural. However, he's not even taken the natural yet. I don't know why he's not opting to do this. He does have a nice force of zealots and sentries at home, as well as getting a cannon on this high ground. I'd like to see him take the natural expansion right now and start macroing really hard, as he's effectively shut down Jack's natural, and his economy will be better if he chooses to take that expansion. We see a medevac loaded up with 2 Marauders as well as 4 Marines, and he's going up to destroy these rocks to hopefully send some SCVs up to saturate this base that he's taking. Both players not doing too much in the way of gearing up to take an attack. We do see 2 more Dark Templar down here in the gold expansion, as well as his probe sitting tight by the pylon. He should just run the probe back home or scout around with it, make sure there's nothing else going on for the Terran player. And I'd like to see this drop come out by Jack, as there's not really much here to defend except for this pylon. However, if he drops the units up here and runs them behind, well, there are two pylons, 2 cannons here, which are going to do quite a bit of damage. We see 3 gateways, wow, or 3 stargates, excuse me, for the red Protoss player, as well as this natural finally going up. However, this is going to be quite revealing to Jack, as he sees that the natural is not finished, and they are at the 16-minute mark. That should be good intel to Jack that his economy is not that much farther ahead than Jack's is. However, because he was floating a bit of minerals, now he's able to produce these 3 stargates as well as this void ray. And I don't know what Jack's going to do for it. He does have quite a bit of Vikings and Marines, so he should, in theory, be able to hold this off. This kind of Viking, this kind of warp gate play. His second, which is now his natural is his third. But this base up in the top left position is not saturated at all. He really needs to run some of these SCVs over there, as he has quite a bit over here, and the minerals are running quite dry. We also see that these starports are not producing as to their full capacity as they should, and he's currently scanning his own base. It must be some sort of mistake. I'm sure he wanted to cast down an extra supply depot, but he does miss it and hits hits C instead of X. But that's alright. He should be building a supply depot. It's actually better. It's always better to build a supply depot than it is to waste a mule on that. He is sending his forces in, and all that cannon's going to spot it and start picking it off. He needs to siege his tanks right now, and yes, he does. He seizes his tanks and he's pushing forward. He's going to be shooting this cannon down as well as this pylon. He's going to destroy this nexus. And wow, there's a whole bunch of zealots as well as these sentries coming down. He's going to be using this mule to cast down one of these, and oh, here comes the stalkers or the zealots from behind to destroy the siege tanks. Wow, and all the siege tanks go down thanks to this little zealot play that Power Ranger just absolutely loves to do. It seems to work in his favor quite well, and wow, he warped in a ton of stalkers, which is great, seeing as this is a very marine heavy force. However, there are some marauders. The stalkers need to quit wasting their time on these Vikings and start attacking this force right here, which they are doing at this time. 2 more zealots coming down. The nexus was able to be picked off, and man, this is getting quite crazy. Here are a ton more zealots coming to pick off the rest of this, and Jack is going to retreat at this time, seeing as he cannot continue to engage. We do see that there's only one little mineral patch back in the main. However, there are 4 void rays in his base. But during that time, we do see the Dark Templar were able to come in and effectively shut down Jack's natural, and maybe even his third. Either that or just the fact that he hasn't saturated it yet means he didn't feel the need to do it. But oh man, here comes the void rays. They're going to be able to pick off these barracks, as Jack doesn't have that many Marines. He does have quite a bit of Vikings, but oh man, they're just a lot of stalkers as well as zealots, and they're going to pick off this tank as well as Jack's remaining forces. But he does have this tank on the high ground, both these tanks on the high ground, and oh man, the void rays were able to clean up the Vikings, and they're going to pick off this barracks as well as everything else here. 2 more Vikings to do some damage, but oh, they're not attacking soon enough, and bam, they go down real fast. to the Void Rays. I just don't see what Jack's going to be able to do in this situation. He can't take his natural, and these Void Rays are destroying all his unit-producing structures. And there's a little turret, auto turret by the Raven, but it's just not enough to deal with this, as only one of the Void Rays is near death, and he doesn't have any units to deal with. Not even building any Vikings at this time. Continuing to build Marauders for whatever reason. His SCV is currently just sitting here. They're going to be able to be picked off by these Zealots and Dark Templar, and that's basically the end of Jack's unit producing structures. He does have these 2 starports left, but they aren't doing anything, and PowerRanger opting not to take his expansion back, but instead he's going to do some long distance mining, and there's the GG from Jack, as he just couldn't deal with this Void Ray force. He didn't have enough Marines, he didn't have enough Vikings. Very nice play by PowerRanger. I really like the Dark Templar thing, warping in the back of the base, and the really cool thing is the Dark Templar play isn't what beat Jack. It was not this cheese sort of thing, it was just kind of this obnoxious play to put Jack in this kind of box and say, okay, now you have to build a Raven, you have to start building turrets, and in the meantime I'm going to put up this expansion, and I'm going to get a force to destroy your army. And I just love the play by the PowerRanger sending the Zealots up to destroy those tanks. It did just crazy amounts of damage, as the tanks were completely alone and weren't able to defend themselves from the Zealots, and with the Zealot legs they were able to run right up there and just pick them off as soon as they can. I would have liked to seen some drop play by Jack. It would have done some obnoxious damage to PowerRanger, and he would have been able to see these Stargates as well and been able to pick them off. But I think Jack played a very good game. I think he had a very good push there. It's just that Zealot force was able to do more damage than Jack was able to do. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this second game in the best of 5 series between Jack and PowerRanger. This is CadoinkStudios, and check out more Moorecraft videos. The rest of the videos will be up soon enough, and we will see you guys later.